Hello and welcome to this special conversation on the squirrels. With me, our guest today is Sanjay Kapoor, well-known observer, author, journalist, looks at everything related to the Middle East very, very closely. Great pleasure for us to be welcoming you, Sanjay bhai. Let me begin by asking you this latest move which has now been made, a defense deal between Saudi Arabia and the government of Pakistan. What do you make out of this? Firstly, China-Pakistan axis, now Saudi Arabia-Pakistan axis. What do you make out of it? What does it mean for India?
I think you have to see it together both with for India as well as in the region what is happening. If you allow me, then I'll talk about the region. Things are changing quite rapidly. It shows that the US is no longer the protector of the region, which was earlier supplying oil and gas to the world, primarily because US never wanted its oil reserves to be depleted. Now things have changed dramatically. It is no longer the protector, and that is what has happened since Israel began to assert itself very aggressively. Why did Saudi Arabia do it? Saudi Arabia has been in conversation with Pakistan for quite a while. It's not that they started talking only recently. They have been in conversation about how to fortify the defenses, what to do. Way back in 2015, they wanted Pakistan to join the nine-country coalition, which they had put together to neutralize Yemen, because Yemen is a big nettle in their works, causes great amount of distress to Saudi Arabia. They've been bombing them time and again. In fact, when I was in Saudi Arabia in 2019, I remember I was in a hotel and a, a bomb, a missile kind of thing fell very close, not far away from there. And so that is the kind of intrusion the Houthis or the Yemenis have made. And Saudi Arabia had been very keen to neutralize us. So they talked to Pakistan. Pakistan has a large presence in Saudi Arabia. They have about 2.5 million people working there and also very actively also in the army and other security ventures. But the thing is that it kept on getting postponed primarily because Imran Khan was the prime minister and he had major reservations about using his forces against a fellow Muslim country, that was Yemen, had decided to beg off in a certain way. So what really happened thereafter has been a matter of speculation because Pakistan had been kind of fallen off the radar. Primarily, everybody was talking to India. Saudi Arabia had been very close to India. In recent years, it has also been a participant in something called the IMEC, India Middle East Economic Corridor. And without Saudi Arabia, you cannot have an IMEC, and India was participant in that. So with all that happening, Pakistan was nowhere in the picture. And suddenly we find Pakistan is coming like almost like
Why?
Phoenix.
But Sanjay, that's what I'm trying to understand. How is it? Here was the Indian Prime Minister who had gone to Saudi Arabia. He was given the highest civilian honor. The Saudi prince was coming to India. There were those warm hugs, great friendship which was being shown. And now suddenly, why is it that everyone seems to be veering towards Pakistan and not towards India? What's gone wrong, do you think, from an Indian standpoint?
So there have been multiple reasons. We may agree or may not agree. The impression after Operation Sindoor is that Pakistan did not do too very badly when it came to fighting against India. You talk to somebody who's not nuanced into the politics of the region, and they would say Pakistan beat India. We don't want to buy that because we actually gave them a black eye and we did them great harm. But in the initial phase of the war, 4-day war, they kind of acquitted themselves. So Saudi Arabia is kind of convinced that they're in a position to align with Pakistan, which will help them fight off Israel, because the threat in the entire Muslim world is against Israel, and that is what really triggered or the meeting that took place in Doha recently, where about 57 countries came together, and the buzz was how do you neutralize whatever Israel is planning. So one of the things that has emerged is not something that happened in Doha, but something that emerged out of it is a coalition of sorts, is a pact between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. People say that Saudi Arabia, in fact, funded the nuclear bomb that Pakistan has. And when they talk about a defense pact, they also talk about every possible piece of arsenal that Pakistan has at the disposal of
So here's
Saudi
the
Arabia.
situation, Sanjay. And to an outsider, to a layperson, it may all look very bewildering because for the longest time we were apprehensive of the Chinese moves towards India, the dispute which existed, which of course the Indian state doesn't agree in areas around around Arunachal, between the border areas between China and Arunachal Pradesh. Yet we have gone to the SCO summit, and we shook hands with the Chinese premier. Now Saudi Arabia also getting into a defense pact with Pakistan. Donald Trump repeatedly, while he now calls Prime Minister Modi as Narendra as his dear friend, but he has one eye and certainly a lot of interest around blockchain with Pakistan. Where do you think the needle is really changed? Where do you think the needle is really turned? Is it Operation Sindoor, or was it something which is already building up and we're just picking it up now?
I mean, let's face it, Operation Sindoor is one thing that I praise, but the other thing, that major thing that has raised the profile of Pakistan is the manner in which US has been dealing with Pakistani leadership. If you remember, Asim Munir was invited to come to White House. He had lunch there, and the menu was put together with the help of whatever he likes. And then he had the crypto deal with the Pakistan, with the US. I was told that Asim Munir did more than that. He had a little survey, did a little research before landing in Washington. He found out that there were 4 or 5 guys whom he needed to be close to, know them well. And all of them were very close to President Donald Trump. And one of them, unhappily, is also the designate as ambassador designate to India. So I'm not very sure how close he is, but was an attempt on the part of Prime Minister of Asim Munir, General Asim Munir, Field Marshal Asim Munir, to endear himself to all these 4 or 5 people. So some conversation had taken place, and if you look at it, there's going to be a meeting again between Asim Munir, shahbaz Sharif, and President Trump when the two Pakistanis reach New York for the UNGA summit. These are not going to be music in the ears of India. So surely something dramatic has happened, primarily because Pakistan, as you know, is a bit of a mercenary force. Pakistan is an army which has also got a state, is what the cliche goes. And they are in a position to provide the security that India can't. And they are willing to provide troops on the ground that India can't, and do many things that India won't, because there is a certain amount of democratic accountability in India. It doesn't do what India wants. So these are things that we have, and that is what is playing out in a large measure when it comes to how the world is changing dramatically.
Okay. All right, Sanjay. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing all your thoughts with us. Thanks so much.